box will jump up on your screen. Click the word "Got it," and let's get to it. Set up the space just like you see mine with these components. A chair on this side, chair on this side, with the backs of the chair facing in. These serve as our balance supports, whether we're on this side or this side, but we want some room here. And then that third chair here to sit. We begin sitting because, for multiple reasons, but one of the main ones is we are safe while sitting, right? You might feel pretty safe on your legs, or you might feel not safe at all, as some people do with balance issues and such. But when we're sitting, usually we feel like, okay, the chair is supporting me. There's this stability that we need. So then we can practice those three concepts that I keep bringing up, and not to be a broken record do I bring them up, but because they're everything. They're the most important part of what needs to change in how we're thinking about operating the vehicle that we're driving, that we're inside of this body. So Zhongjang, central upright, central upright. So any postural deficiency breaks that initial rule. So we usually have to do something, attend to it. Eventually, it's just a matter of attention. It's just the mind going, oh yeah. Once you sort of, what would you say, harmonize to, the feeling of Zhongjang, then you go, oh, that's the most comfortable place to be. It's the most natural. It lets everything function beautifully. But often we have bad habits. We're slouched. We're stuck. We got a shoulder that's shrugged up like this, and one's down here, and we sit over here. And then you add in something like Parkinson's that's kind of creating a bit of chaos in the nervous system. And so we got to do something about that. And the Friday class is the best class too for this joint mobilization, moving, clearing everything out. Because in this one, we're really focusing on practical balance, changing weight, moving forward, moving back. But we want to do, no matter when we practice, we want to do something that addresses this issue. So sitting upright, finding Zhongjang, central upright. Usually we've had to do that with some effort, some action, and then that action tends to get caught in the body, and so then we're stuck holding ourselves up, and that's exhausting, and it holds unnecessary weight in the body, makes us clumsier. So the second really important piece, Chun One, or softening, releasing, melting. Now, as I soften, release, and melt, if I lose my Zhongjang, then I've broken the little magic combination. So you reattend, Zhongjang, central upright, and then relax, soften. The other piece of Chun One is that it's like sediment in a cup of water. It doesn't just go down, right? It settles down. It settles down. And over time creates a very dense conglomeration of earth down at the bottom, right? And that's what we're doing when we're doing our seated meditation. We're just keeping Zhongjang and allowing for that Chun One, that softening to stability piece, allowing that to happen. And then what's left is that clear water that doesn't have the sediment in it. And the name for that is Qing Ling. So these three things, Zhongjang, Chun One, and Qing Ling, is like the result of doing this right. So this is the feeling we all actually really want in our body is, oh, I'm very grounded and stable and connected to the earth, and yet the body is agile, nimble, mobile, right? So we have to have both of those things present. We got to be grounded, but we also can't be so stable that we're like a statue. So that's Tai Chi. That's the understanding of what we produce with our practice of Taoist movement practice. So we've got our Zhong Zheng, Chun Wen, Qing Ling. Now we put the Qing Ling into practice by joint mobilization. Slide the hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back, chest up, chin up. We arch the body. And then we slide the hands forward past the knees, rounding, hollowing, dropping. And then we slide the hands back. So Zhong Zheng, or through upright, is present in the back arch as well as present in the rounded shape. So it isn't about being perpendicular to the ground, really. It's more of an internal state of throughness and openness and integrity. So this loosening up of all 24 vertebrae, the pelvis tipping and tilting, the head leaning back and forward, the shoulder blades sliding into pro and retraction, the arms moving, right? All of that opens up interior space for us. It's buying real estate that's not on the market. You can't buy this real estate, but by this price. You have to pay the price of practice. That's kind of a catchy thing I just said. Pay the price of practice. I like that. I'm going to steal that from myself. All right, and then we settle to the middle. So we're back to this center, and the idea here would be, if you were paying attention, you would feel differently now than when we started the practice. When we came first, there was, some stiffness, maybe you're really accustomed to it. Then the movement loosens that up, and then we come back to this same neutral position, but the feeling is interior space. So we go from feeling kind of like cramped in a closet to, oh, the room's a little bigger, right? And then that continues with each range of motion we practice. So left hand goes forward past the knee. Right hand slides back, elbow back, and then turn. So now we're rotating, turning to the right, and then switch. Rotating and turning to the left. And then rotating, just keep doing that. Now, if you're going fast, that's not your friend, because it makes the movement less polished, less mindful, less smooth. It makes it clumsy. And the body also gets defensive. When we yank it around, the body has to put up defenses to protect pain, protect from pain, to protect balance and things like that. So train yourself, again, not so slow that you're stagnant, right? There's this place where it's just smooth. You're just not in a rush. There's a saying, Qigong and Tai Chi are like resting. So think about resting, and then do these practices in the state of resting. That doesn't mean they're weak. It just means they're working on a different mode of being, mode of power, mode of control. Now back to middle, and just take that moment here. Feel what changed. Something changed. And our ability to sense what is changing, that's also what needs to adjust for us. A more sensitive palette of, ooh, I feel a little different, right? Hang the arms. Now we lean, just softly lean. Lift your left wrist, left foot empty. And then lean. So we're trying to break a habit. The habit of clinging and grabbing and holding this body that we all do. All the way back 10,000 years ago, you read these insights by yogis and Taoists and others. We have the same issues we had today. The mind won't stop thinking. The body gets stressed and tense, and we need to learn to master that. That is still a high-level skill that we need to pursue, cultivate every day. And then we come back to the neutral. Shoulders. Again, we go over these in detail in some classes. Today I'm sort of moving through because I want to get us standing a little sooner. Forward, up, back, down. Remember, it's your scapula on your back that spread apart, lift up, squeeze back, slide down. The arms are along for the ride. So if I take my arms out of the screen, because a lot of times people pay attention to the arms, but I really want you to find that movement in this meat and bone in the shoulder blades. And just feel how you're basically giving yourself a wonderful massage. You're squishing the tissue. You're cleaning out barnacles. So get good at these exercises and they just get more and more effective. Now reverse, go back and up, forward and down. So again, I'm going to take my arms out of the screen so that you really focus on the fact that the movement happens in this upper chassis, back, up and over. A few more. This is one of the great depositories of excess tension is the shoulders, neck, chest, upper back. Carry the world on our shoulders, right? So we're allowing that to soften and loosen. All right, now the legs. Just scoot a little bit back. This is just the briefest I can do, right? I can spend an hour and a half doing joint mobilization, or we can try and tighten it up. Today we're tightening it up. Lift the knee, draw the heel in with a flexed foot, push away, bring it up, set the foot down. Other, load, push, load, down, load, push, load, down. Continue. And we're just, again, just loosening up. Root, middle, end. Root, middle, end. We want free movement, unobstructed. With my private work with Parkinson's folks, that's really what I have found. The main cause of a lot of what, or the main solution, let's say, is to practice this, getting rid of this obstruction to movement, right? Especially at the later stages of it, people I'm working with, they'll be stuck and the movements are just really small, but when they relax, that range is right there. Like it's right there on the other side of all that tension and strain and stress is all this functionality. So keep practicing that and just have that be the state that you're in. The idea would be that Parkinson's has less place to lodge itself. That's how I'm thinking about it at least. All right, now sit at the front edge one more time, feet a little wider. And we lift the toes, turn the knees and toes in, turn the knees and toes out. So we're just trying to go up into this root, the quad, where the legs plug into the pelvis. And free, right? Free range. And then back to neutral. Now, extend one leg and do foot and ankle, pointing, flexing, pointing, flexing. So we want to free up that end there. And then same foot, invert, tilt, evert, tilt. Tilt in, out, out. And then circle the foot, in, around, and out a few times. And out, around, and in a few times. And switch feet, point and flex. Invert, evert, tilt, tilt. Circle. And reverse. And then last thing before we stand up. So legs now don't move, but the pelvis does. Fold. Up. lean back, sit up, fold, up, lean back. So again, the chair offers us an opportunity to experience fearless, cautionless, tensionless movement. And then now as we stand up and move while standing, you're going to find just naturally a layer of caution, tension, fear, concern. Because again, it's rational. I can't really fall from my chair, but once I stand up, there's the threat around. But that needs to also become just as relaxed as we are in this chair. That has to go in that direction. Okay. So now we slide the feet back. And today, just think of the word down, down. Down is the primary direction. That doesn't mean we pull ourselves down or push something down. We release it down. We yield it down. So hang your arms loose. Body loose. Now, as you fold and get your arms, shoulders, and head in front of your ankles, let there be the down. Don't worry about the up. Just pour yourself out of your chair into your legs and let it be down, down, down. Now you're no longer sitting. And you just push through the earth and you come all the way to standing. And when you get all the way vertical, also down. Yield it down, release it down. And it's in that released and loose body that you can just stick the butt back, fold all the parts together again into that little shape, and then sit down. So you just used sung as opposed to li to execute a movement. A very powerful movement of coming from sitting to standing and standing to sitting. And we want that to feel like it's just absolute butter. Just relaxing. And again. And now don't sit in your chair. Do this as a way of getting something off the floor. Oh, I dropped something. Oh, rather than tensing up and being all fearful, relax, hip hinge, and just fold the origami up and get down and get the thing off the floor and then push through the earth and come on back up. So that melted state, that soft, relaxed state. And again, relaxation, the reason it helps the body function better, one of the many reasons, is there's more space. So tension brings things together, and then the joints stick against each other and block each other. When you're relaxed, hips move around the legs easy, the spinal joints are happy to fold it perfectly, the shoulders are loose. So we just want that relationship pervasive through the entire body. Now, come over to your chair on your right side. Turn and face it. Fingertips on the chair for safety because we don't want to fall. But now, tip forward a little bit. And middle. And then tip back into the heels. So use the chair to keep you safe so that you can challenge yourself. Again, I don't want to be leaning on the chair and just going back and forth in my feet because then I'm not training the actual function that someday is no hands. But doing it no hands with no chair, I'm going to be too cautious or I'm going to fall. So use the chair to give you that courage to say, okay, how far into my toes can I lean and yet keep the down connection to the earth and stay relaxed? And then how much into my heels can I go? Use the chair for safety to where you can start to find what this will help us with. Again, many things that will help us, but where is my middle? Where is it? I can tell you where it is, but you have to feel it. You have to experience being forward in the toes and back in the heels, and yet finding that place at about navel level in the middle of the belly. That's our middle. So when we find it, then we can go, oh, rock, rock. And then once you've zeroed in on that, there's a saying in Tai Chi, the mind always in the middle, or in that middle dantian. So then we have the place to put our attention. Now, stay in your toes. Lift your heels up. Lower your heels. Rock to the heels. Use the chair for safety. Pull the toes up. Be in your heels. And then toes and lift. There's many reasons to do this exercise. One of which is it takes the dense foot and lower leg and tenderizes it, right? When you get all the way up, you're contracting like crazy your calf muscle, your Achilles, and then you're melting it, and then you're really stretching it here when you pull those toes up. So we need this to be tender, soft, flow through, right? Rather than heavy and dense. All right, and now hands on your chair, heels of hands on your chair. Walk your feet back, and then keep the legs straight-ish and fold at the hips. And stick that butt way back. And so watch me here. Notice that what I don't do is this. See how that tends to be what people do? They let the spine give instead of keep that nice spine and hip hinge. Really stick the butt back. And that pulls on the hammies, pulls on the back, and then you also get a nice shoulder opening as you fold. And then chest up. Hips forward, and we do it one more time. But oh, way back. And chest up. Walk your feet 1, 2, 3 forward. Get vertical and turn and face forward. Take a step back from your chair. So now the chair on your right should be in front of you and to your right. So this is my left hand, but I'm saying right because I'm going to be your mirror. So please just do it in the way that I'm your mirror. So be closer to your right side, this side, and the chair is in front of you. Now you can touch the chair. Now, arms hang, everything loose, open the knees. So just kind of a little moment of loose, light, relaxed. Now, from your middle, just change the weight to that right leg and stay there for a moment. Notice, was your reaction to lock the leg up? If it was, tell it to relax. And notice when you relax your right leg, you don't just crumple to the ground. Right? A relaxed leg has its own resilience, its own support network. That's the one we want to train. Change to the other leg. So we go 70, 30, 80, 20, 90, 10, maybe even 100, 0. And then you notice, oh, did I lock my leg or can I soften? Just let it be soft. And then we change. And at first, this practice is kind of like we're down to the earth. We come up out of the earth, over, and then we work on going back down to the earth. So there's sort of this thing happening. But over time, it's as if it's happening underground. So you can try either of those, right? Eventually, when you're soft in both legs, the change happens boop, underground. So it isn't this, oh, boom. It's just, boom. And that's when it starts to become more and more instantaneous, when you're just so relaxed that you're like, oh, it's just right underneath me. It's just underneath. It's just right down there. And you learn to trust that instead of being so afraid and uprooted. So this is rooted, right? Now we go change to the left, stay in the left, and lift your right heel. Get to the tippy tip of the shoe. And then down with that foot and change. Once this is empty, then we go tip of shoe, down, chain, tip, chain. Just notice the tendency will be to go like this, like this, like this, to be afraid, to brace for the fall. Relax, if you can. That's what the chair is there for in case of emergency. but you really got to practice and develop this courage to be soft. Now, tippy toe, now hand on chair, because we're going to disconnect. So you want to, again, have the courage to do it and not grab on like hell with all the muscles in your body. So say, okay, chair, you're there for me if I need to. So I'm going to really challenge softness and downness, letting it go down. Other leg, and we disconnect. So eventually you can try it, no chair, but especially in the beginning, just have that hand there. Psychological support to give you the courage to practice staying relaxed in the midst of something that is dangerous. It is dangerous to pick a foot up because we could fall. That's dangerous. And then we just take that one level further by saying, okay, how high can this go? This shape right here, this is the golden rooster shape in Tai Chi. This is as high as it goes. It doesn't go any higher. Most people exist somewhere like this when they're doing it, but the looseness and this sitting of the hip, it gets all the way there, and then that's it. This is it. This is as high as it ever should go or will go. And then all the way down, soft as butter, to the ground. Then you change the weight, use the chair so that you can get all the way up. And remember, it's not just the position you get to, it's the quality of song. So again, chair allows you to courageously say, okay, loose, relax, down. Soft and thorough. Loose. Down while still loose. On the ground, still loose, change. Now that I've changed, loose, free, relaxed, nothing is disturbed from my equilibrium because I'm loose. So that's the eventual goal, is this state of like, wow, this body still works really well, right? One more each. Okay. Again, make sure you're back from the chair and it's slightly forward from you and to the right. Empty your right foot, put the weight in the left. Put the right foot out, heel touching the ground. So we're just here. By having the heel touching, it really shows you, are you partially still in that leg, or can you truly commit? One full, one empty. Now, down. Tippy toe. Down. Tippity. Down. Down. Middle. Just from your middle, just it's like resting. Rest down into that leg. Rest down through that. And don't think forward, backward. The moment I think forward, I'm going too far. Down. Down. And how do I get down? Soft. Soft. How do you get soft and loose? Only you can prevent forest fires. Only you can learn how to tune that ability. Now, level 2 on this. Empty front foot from your hip, lift and lower. So again, if this leg is empty, this feels pretty much like a feather. Not because it's so strong, but it's because it's so relaxed that it feels light. Then we change. And if this is empty, this again feels like a feather. You do this little flamingo, bend the knee, put the toe down, and then just shift and let all the weight empty through this leg so that this puppy is down. And then you just let all the weight go down. Let this one. And then it's level 2. We just take it up a notch, but it's the same thing. Right? Use the chair for this, but this is get to the maximum. Touch the heel softly. Change. Get to the maximum. Reach the toe back. chin. The down gives me this safe up. There's no danger unless I'm going yank and trying to pull it up, and then I'm going somewhere. But if I just go, oh, down, it goes down and stays there. Goes down. Eventually, it never comes up. It just stays down. And switching sides. Parallel, side step, shift, closer to this chair. Put the weight in your right leg, left foot in front, heel touching, empty and soft, and then just down. And this one is great because it gives us the opportunity. No hands on anything. We're moving forwards and backwards, so it would be very easy to lose that awareness of it's not about moving forward and backward. It's about down. So feeling how, oh, if I just focus on down, I just moved forward 6 inches and backward 6 inches. And I never lost my jongjang, my central upright, because I didn't go back, forward, right? It's like a boat in the water, listing and eventually capsizing, where you just keep the equilibrium. Level 2, chair if needed for lift, lower, down. The down gives me the freedom. The down is that freedom. And a lot of people will say, my back hurts, right? My back hurts from the practice. Part of that is weakness that needs to get stronger, and part of it is if I do this exercise just with this little, and I'm sort of exaggerating what's happening for a lot of people, because the jongjang isn't there, it just took a little bit of loss there, and then this correction in the head, and now my back is straining, and I'm having to work too hard to do everything. And so that's, again, the power of verticality and then relaxing. Let's go level 3. Up, down, shift. And the tendency too, we see this leg ready to come up and we sort of contract to do it instead of just relax. Just relax. So as my teacher said, which blew my mind, but it's obvious now, the human body is primarily a hydraulic power system. Hydraulics. And hydraulics are used in auto mechanics and on crab fishing boats. It's the most powerful force. It's incredibly powerful when we use it. Water pressure, hydraulics, pneumatics, that kind of a thing. That's what we are. And we're even more than that. Those are only metaphors, actually, for what the human body can do. Because we're alive. We're alive. Whereas like an auto mechanic rig isn't alive, but it functions. But we are living beings, right? Let's switch sides. Set up the same way. Weight in your left leg, right foot in front. Now, shift. Once this back foot is empty, just step and shift again. And then we go backwards by going down. This is empty, so it can step without any disturbance to my middle, and then down. And I just moved 12 inches in space, safely. Down, step, down. No premature stepping, right? That's what gets us in trouble, is we think, oh, hurry up. Instead, just shift, wait for it. Wait for it actually to arrive, step, and then wait for it. Eventually, that arrival can be instant. The softer you are, the more you understand how to control the nervous system to not let it tighten you. The more you get that, the more it's instant, and then speed and swiftness and efficiency of movement come. But initially, we got to just unpack the bags, right? Let's go level 2 now. So use the chair, lift and lower, shift, and now we got to step over something. So loose, light, empty, set it down while still empty as opposed to getting pulled with it, right? Set it down, and then you decide when it's time. And then we go flamingo, down, shift. Now, this is very important. Up tuck, and then as you reach the foot back, don't let your body weight leave this leg. Find the floor, but stay sturdy in this front leg, and then shift, lift, lower, shift. The down gives me the freedom, safety of that movement. The down gives me that freedom. Down. So the down, stay down through this leg even as you reach back. So that's a part where a lot of times we get pulled. So really find that ability to soft and loose, reach back, shift, lift, lower, shift, step over, shift. And use the chair, maximum range, up, down, shift, maximum range, heel, knee, foot, float it down, empty, shift, knee, foot behind. Now we're going backward. Shift. Remember, down, stay down, stay down, stay down. Then shift. Down gives me the up. Down. One more. It's just such a wonderful feeling that I think some of you at least get some glimpses of. If not, hopefully there's some amount of sustainable change happening. Let's go ahead and switch sides. That you have both things present that we're looking for. More stability and more stillness, which is control, that stillness, and lightness and nimbleness. Combination of those two things are like amazing for us because usually we've got one more than the other, right? Change the weight into your right leg, left foot in front. Casual, gotta be casual. Just step. Don't think forwards and backwards, think down. That organizes the up. The down with a relaxed body gives me the up. I don't have to try and figure it out and say, oh, let me check. Am I aligned to the wall? No, just relax and get that down. Down. And it gives us that buoyancy. Lift, lower, shift. Step over the obstacle. So lift, over. Really important, put the foot down without letting your body weight fall into it and then decide to change into it. Same thing here, going backwards, and this one's even more difficult to reach back but not get pulled back. And then shift. Light and empty. Light, loose, empty. Light and loose. Again, absolute freedom of movement and agility and range with incredible stability. You don't have to have one or the other. There's a third state that is greater than those two, but includes them both. And we'll go level 3, using chair to go way up and down. Change, and then it's heel, knee, foot, lower, shift, and then shift, up and reach, shift. The down gives me the up, the down. So that what you also learn is when you have a moment of, whoa, almost losing it, instead of the initial reaction of, if I started coming up and losing my balance, my initial reaction might be, oh no, and tighten. That actually pulls me more up out of my root. So learning to have your response to your almost loss of balance be one of soften more. So we come up and you go, whoa, and then you relax more. That's the response. Eventually, you don't even feel like you have those almost falls, but we're training. That's why we want to go slow enough to, I'm going, I'm waiting. I'm not just whipping my leg through them. Finding those little whoa, whoa, right? And learning to respond by relaxing more in the face of them, right? Okay. Facing forward, move to the left side of your space. Turn and face downrange. So you should have a big old runway of about 5 steps or so in front of you. Level 1. Empty 1 footstep. And then down. So just keep that word in your mind. Down. Down. And it's nice because it's the only one you have to worry about. Get the down correct. And the rest takes care of itself. Also make sure you got your vertical line. Zhong, Chun Wan, and Qing Ling. That's what's at play at a fundamental essential level, is how's my vertical alignment or my throughness alignment? And then am I gripping on to the weight in my body that should be released back to the earth? So the poetic saying is, give back to the earth that which is of the earth. Give it back. Let it go. And then what is left is that part of us that is both half material and half sort of the effervescence of life, heaven and earth. We are a mixture of that. So that's this Qingling state. So we were just heaven, we'd be just dispersed emptiness, right? But we have that space within, but we're also contained within a vessel. So we have a nice vessel, which makes life more fun to have a vessel. Casual, effective movement. And as you get more relaxed, you can find swiftness and speed. So watch me here, and maybe you try this, maybe you don't, but this is the progression. So once I can relax and do this, right, I'm taking small steps. How do I speed up? So when I work with people and they think about speeding up, they speed up the number of steps that they take. So then, and with Parkinson's, it's really pronounced that as you're going, and then you try to speed up, and then it becomes sort of, oh, I'm trying to go faster. And what's funny is by trying to go faster, then people get locked into this, right? How many of you have been this or have seen someone in the Parkinson's community that's trying to move and they're sort of doing this? And it's because they're trying to take a million steps all at once versus every time I say this, it works. I say, stop. Oh, stop. Pick a leg. Oh, pick a leg. So now I'm here full. You got to pick your full leg. So then when we want to speed up, all we do is actually increase the range of the step you're taking. So if you still focus on down, because if I take a bigger step and I'm going forward, that's when it gets troublesome. It's like almost like running downhill. If you run downhill and you get ahead of yourself, you're going to go bang. But if you focus on down, so I can take big steps and keep all my arrangement because I understand relax and down. So then you start moving around and you're not in a hurry internally. You're just covering serious ground, right? So that's also where this thing comes in, right? You know, when you see people walking, this is happening, right? Why is that happening? Is it because I, with my mind, grab my arms and time it just right like a robot? No, it's because this middle pivot is twisting. So when I go here, if I get it moving, this has to happen. I can't be going like that, holding my arms, right? So I have to loosen up, and then from the middle, it's around this middle. So try that a little bit around your space. Try to get like 2 or 3 of the biggest steps you feel comfortable with. Big 2, 3. Right? Like there's a pot on the stove that's burning and you need to get to it. You don't want to tighten up and then get stuck in place. You need to go, I better get over there. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. And you're there, but inwardly Tai Chi, soft, loose, spaciousness allows you to operate the vehicle correctly. So I hope that made sense. Now let's do our sidewalk. Left side of your space, facing forward. Put the weight down through the left leg, right leg empty, out, in. Continue to do that. Out, in. The most important couple of parts with this is when you step out, don't turn your leg externally like this. Keep it neutral so that the leg is moving sideways. This is training us to open this crease known as the quad. So you're going out, opening your right quad, in, closing your right quad. If, as I take my leg out, I keep my quad closed, it pulls my body clumsily with me, right? Clumsily versus open, close. Open, close. That's quick, right? That's fast, but I'm not hurrying. I'm just loose and going, oh, hey, look at that. Freedom. Freedom of movement. That's all it is. Now, out, close the quad, open this one. So don't let this foot come off the ground. Keep that heel down so that this real estate has to come from this quad. And then close this one, open this one. Close, open. Close, open. So it's a mechanism inside of us that if you don't train it, especially as we age, we can't use it. So we got to keep it open. Now stay in the right leg. Your left quad open, bring it in, put it out. Bring it in, put it out. Close, open, close. Jong jong, relax, loose, freedom of movement, right? And don't let it be clumsy. My body is not moving. It's not moving, and there's freedom of movement. Okay? Bring the foot in, feet touching. Change to the left. Change to the right. I like to use the example because I think we've all seen Latin dancers, right? You've ever seen like a samba or a cha-cha-cha, this whole thing, and you note that there's clumsy people trying to do it, and then there's people that look like, wow, they've got that movement. That mechanism that makes all the difference in their footwork, that is the same exact mechanism we're trying to find inside of us. And so this movement of feet together, change to the right so that your left is empty, change to your left so that your right is empty. While the feet are close together, this really forces it right into this space, right? This mechanism. So finding that. Now we use that mechanism to get across the room. Down through the left, right foot empty, steps out. Close the right, open the left, bring that left empty foot in, and then little Latin dance change. Step, change, step, change, step. Consider changing underground. The change happens underground if you're relaxed enough. Let's go back the other way. Change, step, change, step, change, step. So I could speed this up and obey the principles. because I have a very good sense of the principles. But if you speed it up, it probably ends up becoming this sort of clumsy rocking of the body. So go slow enough that you can really get that feeling of let's go back that way. Because we can use what they'll call Lee, tension-based clumsy strength, we could use that to do what we're doing. Maybe we'd be able to get where we're going faster today using that, but we're risking falling by a long shot, a whole bunch more risk involved. And it also leads to a dead end, where if we train this, it leads to ever increasing function, ever increasing balance, especially with Parkinson's, as I see it, because of its emphasis in Taoist practice on being in a state of total parasympathetic, soft, relaxed, down regulated. So we're training how to just be no stress. The mind not going crazy. We're here. All right. Now, come between your chairs. The final sort of basic cardinal direction movements. We did forward and back. We did lateral. Now rotating or turning in space. Zhongjang, right? Go down through your left leg, right leg empty, turn the leg externally. Toes turn out, and then turn the leg internally. Now add to this, the pelvis can turn and the foot can turn. So now your pubic bone should be pointing a little bit, let's say, to this forward corner of your telephone booth, a little bit that way, and then your leg is turned out even more. So your leg is turned 90 degrees, let's say, and your pelvis is turned a little, and so you're turning on your left hip. And then come back to neutral, and now the opposite becomes true. As I internally rotate the leg, I can also turn my pelvis on the left leg, so the pubic bone points a little bit to this corner. And then we turn out. So it's the pelvis turning and the leg bone separately turning that creates my maximum turnout. And then what's my maximum turn in? Eventually I can turn, and there's a practice called Bagua. Look what I'm doing here. I can see all the way to this corner behind me because of creating this shape, right? Turning. And I can turn and look all the way behind me to that other corner. So the body has this ability. The practice of Bagua, which is a sister practice to Tai Chi, is all about this kind of walking. It's a really amazing practice for many reasons. But firstly, we just want to get comfortable with this idea of all my weight is in the left leg, and then everything else is free to turn. And yet I'm not losing my balance, right? All the way around. Looking behind you, right? Behind you. And then let's come back to center and let's switch. So again, if you're newer to this, because we've been doing this for a while, some of you it's your first day, if you feel like that's jamming you up, keep it at the first level of the practice, which I showed, which is none of this upper body stuff, and only leg and pelvis, leg and pelvis. Leg and pelvis, because we got to get this mechanism functioning before we can safely add this upper body stuff. But you can go ahead and add it. And Karen, remember your head. You're going to try it. Don't let your head get stuck there. Turn more. Yeah. Go all the way around. Right? We're coming, cross, turning. You go both ways, right? You turn and let it wind around. And I have scoliosis, and this Bagua, not just this practice, but the practice of Bagua is the only thing that I've come across that has unwound what's wound up inside you. And it's stunning what's available here with these twisted stances that are available to us mechanically. All right, so this is just one beginning Shen Fa or body method for Bagua, but it's all Taoist movement. It's all under this understanding of what's available and how to train. Okay, back to center, hands together, rub palms, back of one hand, palms, back of other, palms. Your quad, your groin area. So tendency is closed quad, stiff, whatever, right? So we go, no, soft palms right on the quad, and we go up and down. And in Tai Chi massage, what it isn't is pressing and digging. It isn't that. It's the softest placement of your palm, and then sort of vigorous, but on the surface. So what that does is it promotes the sort of flowering open of the area, whereas the moment we start pressing and digging, the body goes, all right, well, I guess I have to block. So everywhere we're rubbing, just be soft and thorough. So try not to become really small all the way along the range, the whole range. And then the hip flexors, the front of the hips around and in. So again, very soft. We're going out and around. And then we're coming around the back, the sacrum, the tailbone, this sort of top of the buttocks, butt crack, coccyx, and sacrum. We want to just be soft and think about going sort of out. So we're just trying to promote throughness. Like everywhere we're coming across has the potential to be sort of a brambled up space that we want to promote for it to go, oh, and relax. So sacrum and tail, we're just promoting open throughness of the nerves, the chi, the blood, the muscles, everything. And then we come up onto our back. Same thing right on those lumbar muscles. This is called the Ming Men, or the Gait of Life, where the chi stored in the belly. This is the poetic story, it's a beautiful story, but the chi in the belly exits here and circulates out, and then it also returns in and stores here as well. So there's just interesting kind of ideas. We don't want to tie into them too much, but the idea of like, oh, that's an important area, my lumbar, my back, the Ming Men, right? And then like we're doing a squat, the butt goes back a little, sit, sweep the hands down the outside, around the feet to the inside, up the inside, past the groin area to your navel. Trace from navel to Mingmen. Around, up the inside to the navel. Trace the belt meridian. Mingmen loosen and open and disperse any congestion, and then sweep, rise. One more. Belt, Mingmen, yang channels, yin channels. Finally, yang channels, yin channels. Yang, same arm, stay on the same arm. Yang, yin. Same arm, yang, yin. Yang, yin. Switch. Shift a little bit to the balls of the feet so your heels are empty. And then your heels just lift lower, lift lower, lift lower, just to create a bounce. Just to create a little bounce. And ideally, again, initially when we start bouncing, the body gets a little scared and it tightens to control it. Can you create that bounce and let it go everywhere unobstructed? Goodbye, Ella. Yeah, and I'm actually late, so you leaving early is actually you leaving late. So I appreciate you staying. We're just finishing up, but if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Thank you. All right, and so we just shook that last little bit out. Ideally, you feel a state of one body held together not by contraction and clinging and resistance, but held together by this looseness, this suppleness, right? And as you practice regularly, daily, these ideas, that's where it leads. It just leads to like, oh, I can rely on this springy, light nimbleness, which is what youth is. Youth is not the number of years you've been on the planet. And age is also, being old, let's say, is not the number of years on the planet. It's the status, right? You could be, I know people in their 50s older than people who are in their 70, 75, like my teacher. My teacher's buttery soft and springy as you could imagine in his 70s, and there's people in their 40s that are locked up, right? So keep that in mind, that it's what you do, how you train it. When we're 6 years old, 4 years old, we don't have to train it. We're just made of butter, usually. But as we age, we got to do something about it. So in my long, extensive studies, this is the best stuff. The Taoists figured it all out. So thank you, everybody. Closing, settling, sealing. 1, 2. Thank you. All right, any final thoughts, questions, insights?